Hello everybody. I just got back from vacation and I wanted to share some thoughts with you. The first thing that comes to mind is the saying that those who do not trust cannot be trusted. It comes from the Tao Te Ching. And the reason why I wanted to bring up this particular topic is that I'm finding, I find, and I'm sure you do too, that not only has the mass public been indoctrinated into living in fear, with whether it be living in gated communities or living in high security buildings, or even being not trusting their partner, not trusting their friends. Unfortunately, it has become an epidemic. And I just say this because I had an experience several months back where I was speaking to an acquaintance, and this is someone who I've completely trusted, but yet it seemed that they didn't trust me, and just the things that they were saying and whatnot. You can pick up on these things, especially myself as an intuitive. And I'm sure we all go through experiences that are very similar to this. And to go further into this particular situation or this particular topic is that many of us not only don't trust other people, we don't trust ourselves. And that is really the most important thing that I really want to discuss on this particular topic, is how we really must come to a place where we do trust ourselves. We are beginning to have that dialogue with our higher self, our inner self, whatever you wish to call it, and that we are going to trust our intuition, that we trust our gut. It's not to say that we need to be gullible. That is a completely separate topic or issue. We must really use common sense and critical thinking to an extent, but once we develop that relationship with our higher self, our gut, or our intuition, normally we don't put ourselves in predicaments where we are going to be gullible or we are going to be used or anything like that. And the thing is also is that if that were to happen, if something like that were to happen where you were swindled, for lack of a better term, by a friend or a business associate or something like that, I believe that that really is not showing your weakness. It doesn't show weakness. If anything, it creates experience and teaches you what not to do. Now, we have to really look at the full spectrum of trust when it comes to the media, when it comes to the rest of the world. Many of the wars, many of the arguments or conflicts between peoples comes because of the lack of trust, whether they be racially biased, religiously biased, nationally biased. It's they don't trust one another. And this is usually propagated through the media or through I guess regional mythologies or gossip, for lack of a better term. So it goes to show you that this is something that is indoctrinated through an external source and doesn't come from the relationship that we have with our intuition, the relationship that we have with our higher self. As we develop that intuition and as we develop that sense of trust in our intuition, we begin to look at people as ourselves, which is really our goal. The whole intention of raising our vibration is to create a unified world consciousness. You know, many strands are part of the one web of life, but as well as we can be individual, we also must understand that we are all exactly the same. We all have the same ability. We all are special. We all are amazing, capable human beings that have the ability to create a wonderful world, a wonderful environment. And as we are coming to the time now where we are seeing the corruption coming up to the surface, we are beginning to understand that our leaders are not necessarily working in our best interests, it's important that we don't turn on one another. It is important that we as the people, no matter where you live in this world, that we begin to see each other as neighbors, as brothers, as sisters, as a human family. That's not to say that I wish to insinuate that the leaders are them and we're us and it's us against them. No, it really isn't. And if we can say politically, yes, it's the haves and the haves not. If you want to look at that paradigm, that's fine. And maybe as a process of awakening, it might be beneficial to understand to blur the lines between the idea of liberal and conservative and get rid of that. First of all, that concept is very old, and I would hope by now that those of you who have been watching our videos or are members of the GIC know that we really don't align with any particular political party. And as we begin to understand, as you begin to understand, that it really is just a dog and pony show, as a saying. There is no left and right. There's only the haves and the haves not. And again, that's strictly a political or monetary situation. In the reality of things, it's really just that the leaders have lost their connection with their higher selves. They have lost their alignment with their own intuition. They're working from fear, from distrust. I can only imagine what it's like to be a politician these days, with everyone threatening to, reveal something about you that will destroy your career and take away everything you've ever built. So a lot of these people are motivated by fear. So I don't want to say I can't feel sorry for them because they chose this life, but I can say that I choose to have compassion for them as human beings because of the fact that they have strayed so much from their inner light, their inner love, and their inner guidance. Now, as we are progressing into trust in ourselves, trust into the rest of humanity, it's important that we don't lose sight of information that is being presented to us, whether it be externally or internally. As we are receiving information from the media, right now, I personally don't even watch any mainstream media versus maybe a soap opera or two, actually. But I'm referring to news. I think it's fair to say that alternative news is the way to go. I think it's very fair to say that now, as someone who was very much involved in the conservative Tea Party libertarian movement several years ago, I'm now seeing that corruption has slipped into that particular movement, and I'm seeing now where a lot of the conservative bloggers are. Well, a good example is that Breitbart guy. He's always getting caught, doctoring a video or something like that. So the corruption is there too, and I'm sure it is also in the liberal alternative media. But it's up to us to disseminate what works for us internally. What is your inner guidance system telling you? Are you getting a red flag? One of the other things that we need to be aware of is that as we are exposing ourselves to this information, to really look at it as information, to digest it, and then we must be proactive in not reacting to it, whether it be negatively or positively. I'm one to celebrate, wins or joyful things, and I'm one to speak out when I don't like something I see. I find, though, that the difference between me, let's say commenting on a Glenn Beck video or something, which I don't do anymore, but just as an example, let's say I would say, you're an idiot or whatever. We're putting out a vibration. And I feel that we're creating karma for ourselves every time we put out one of these, nasty comments or anything like that, which is eventually going to come back to us. But that's not the point I was trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is that, writing a comment or saying something is one thing, but when it harps on you, and I have found this for myself, and I can only speak for myself, and hopefully you can learn from what I've been going through, or have gone through in the past, is that when I get so riled up about a particular issue, it really affects me. Maybe, let's put it this way, if it affects me for more than 20 minutes, that means I really should not have gone there. And I mean, giving my focus and my energy to that, because now it's clung on to me and it's sucking me dry. Which brings me to the next part. When are we going to realize, and I think we all know this, I feel we all know this, I see that we all know this, but we do it anyway, including myself, that the negative entities or the oligarchical leaders, the Illuminati, the reptilians, whatever you wish to label them, they're basically energy vampires. And when we pay attention to, let's say, the Osama bin Laden killing, for lack of a better term, and we begin to argue with each other over whether he died yesterday or last year or he's still alive, these entities, or this energy is feeding off your energy, off my energy, off everybody else's energy who has been exposed to this. And we're not necessarily raising the vibration of the planet when we do things like this. One of the wonderful things, one of the many things that I do is I'm also a moderator on one of the Facebook pages, Exposing the Truth. And we recently had a little discussion, and we talked about, how we want to present things in an educative state, and you can see the difference. It happens to be a very fast-growing page, and it is linked to the Worldwide Truth Movement on GIC. However, the point I'm trying to make is that it's the presentation. We can educate people, all of you, all the truthers out there, all the light workers, the pagans, whatever you want to call yourself, spiritually inclined, spiritual activists, all of you. We can educate the masses without instilling fear in them. We can educate the masses without exclamation points and writing titles in caps. And we just passed a policy several months ago, actually, where we will not feature blogs that have anything in caps or exclamation points. I won't even look at a video on YouTube that has a title all in caps and exclamation points, because that's called screaming on the internet. That's called alarmism. That is something that, for me, it stirs up my central nervous system. And why do I want to expose myself to something that is going to make my central nervous system get into that fearful defense mode? Oh my God, it's an earthquake, or oh my God, Osama bin Laden's dead, or oh my God, the Fukushima reactor is going to blow up. Okay, how's this? There is a 90% chance that the Fukushima reactor will melt down and cause worldwide radioactivity. Versus, it's going to explode tomorrow, we're all going to die. I mean, you see where I'm going here. Okay, so we need to educate the masses, all of you, all of us watching this. But at the same time, it's important that we maintain a balance, an energetic balance, where we can allow the rest of our global truther community to stay grounded, to maintain a sense of being grounded. And it's taken me 43 years to get grounded, and I will get angry when someone uproots me. It's hard, it's taken me years to learn to be calm. If those of you have been following me for the last few years, you can see the changes. You can see the changes in GIC. We have a different tone now. We're all growing up spiritually. We're all evolving spiritually. And we're running out of time. And I don't mean that we only have a day or a year or 2 years. We're running out of time on the grand scale in order to create change. And we're not going to create it by using the same dynamic of fear and alarmism that the elites and the oligarchs use. So let's remember to trust ourselves. Let's remember to trust others. Let's remember to to really work on bringing up our intuition and to remain grounded. And if you need help with this, I mean, we have plenty, dozens of meditation and grounding videos here on our YouTube channel that you can find. One of my favorites is, I think there's one called Earth Grounding that's done with the Emissaries of Light. And I believe another one is Between the Thoughts. It's also an excellent grounding and meditation video. But we need to take responsibility for our reaction. It's very important. And I just wanted to take this moment and share these thoughts with you. And I hope that you will subscribe if you're not, and I hope that you will consider applying for membership at thegic.org. Thank you all very much. I love you so much. Thank you for being a part of my life. I love you.